We flared up, flared up, flared up, flared up. We flared up, flared up, flared up, flared up. Hold up, y'all gotta pump my taste. Hold up, y'all can't talk about basic. Hold up, we mighty more Power Ranger. Hold up, mine also dangerous. Hold up, y'all talk outrageous. Hold up, don't get caught in the matrix. Hold up, got that touch my savior. Hold up, keep it that touch with my hater. There can't hear it no more. Stand up to the man, can't fear him no more. Sonogram don't feel it no more. You been driving a minute but can't steer it no more. Riding away but now you're chilling on shore. What's the use of being rich when your inside's poor? Is it bliss? What you don't wanna see more? No, you wanna see more. Your mind is out of bounds. It's telling you pack it up. You shackle my thoughts and memories that's adding up. Like overseas, you feel alive like you can't have enough. You probably feel paralyzed if you ain't had a buck. You still feel paralyzed, the bucks and track. Friends is having kids, ain't adding up. What's the use of having a world with no love? What's the use of ingredients with no sauce? What's the use of the physical with no source? We flared up, flared up, flared up, flared up.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to one of our favorite spots, venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. Today we've got a matchup here in pivotal Week 7, as it'll be the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears.
Cairo Santos to kick off for Chicago.
Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. And he is out of bounds as they'll start up past the 30.
At their own 31-yard line.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. And they start things off with a carry by Gibbs here. And good running there as he'll take this all the way up to midfield. First play of the drive, a success, 19 yards. Well, there you go. This offense off to a strong start this afternoon.
Yeah, with a big run and a first down. That's putting what you practice into play. That's excellent execution to get things started.
Going back to Gibbs on first down. Powers throwing. There he goes, right side. Touchdown, Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Lions go down the field in just 2 plays to take the early lead. And that CD, one heck of a run. He just refused to go down.
And that's where determination comes in, because he had at least a couple of guys had really good shots at him, but he just said, I don't think so. Speed, power, elusiveness, all on display right there. Look like you, partner, back in your salad days in Evansville.
Extra point splits the uprights, and it's now a 7-0 game. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. Oh, look at the juke. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25.
Nixon on the return. The Bears take over 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
Looking to put a drive together.
What is going on?
They'll run with the Rutgers man, Kyle Mononga. Nowhere to go that time. Might have gotten a yard up to the 25. You talk about this Lions defense.
And they've been excellent against the pass, the number 6 unit in the NFL.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, it'd easily move into the top 5.
And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
This is an offense that's near the bottom of the league in rushing, so defensively coming in, you've got to know you're going to see the ball in the air a lot. And that time, it's a completion and a first down on this opening drive.
On play action, here's Williams. That's complete. Roma Dunze.
And he's got this to the 30 before being taken down.
25 yards there on the catch and run.
They hit that crossing route really well. Excellent timing, puts it right on him, and he keeps running.
Yeah, turned it upfield for good yardage.
10 at the 30-yard line.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line.
To throw, it's Williams.
Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
The Bears at 1-5, really struggling here to start the year. They were winners the last time out, so they'll be looking here to make it 2 in a row.
And when you and I watched tape prepared for this, what we saw was a team that competed hard, and they played well in all 3 phases of the game. And I think if they can carry that over to this week, they've got a really good chance to emerge victorious yet again.
To throw once more, here's Williams. Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted.
And he will bring it back. An interception return for a Lions touchdown.
Well, we went from scoreless to 13-0 in a hurry. First, their offense had the touchdown, and now the defense comes through with one.
You can't get a better 1-2 punch than that. Follow up a touchdown offense by getting one on defense. If they keep that effort up, you'll take the other sideline out of this one very quickly.
Now the extra point try forthcoming. And it's good, and they have jumped out here to a quick 14-0 first quarter lead.
Bears nothing.
So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air.
And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30, up to the 33.
Take over 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line.
The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And Charles, these early season in-division games are always interesting because you're still kind of figuring yourself out, but you want to know as much as you can about the opponent, especially when it's a division matchup. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this one plays out.
Yeah, that's a good point because they're still trying to work things out. They don't know everything about their own team, let alone trying to figure out their opponent. But you've got to do both on the fly, don't you? While the game's being played, figure it out both ways and try and find a way to win.
They'll run here with the young guy, and he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
That's good.
Brandon, you know that expression? He just does what he does? It sounds trite, doesn't it? But in this case, it's perfectly apt. This is one of the better runners in the NFL, and all he does is just find avenues, find ways to pick up key first downs and big runs.
Jeremy Chin picks it off.
And they'll start out with great field position at the 47-yard line in enemy territory.
And partner, I think this is where long-term starters in the NFL separate themselves from the rest of the pack because there's still 3 full quarters left in this one. More than enough time to move past a pair of early mistakes and find a way to lead your team to a win. Mental resiliency, a characteristic every NFL team's looking for in their quarterback.
On 1st and 10, here's Gibbs. 75 yards rushing for him as he's got the afternoon off to a great start. This defense for the Bears, they had certainly had their struggles to start the season, but they put it all together in getting that first victory a week ago.
And what I saw on film was a nearly unstoppable pass rush. 5 sacks last week, plenty of hurries given up. So now what do you do on offense? You just max protect, keep everyone in and run the ball, or maybe just 1 or 2 receiver routes in order to try and keep your quarterback upright.
A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Well, they came into this game saying it was important that they set the tone and show that they can run the football. And I believe that they've done that here in the first quarter.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Here's the former Bear. This is David Montgomery.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up 2nd down. They'll try the air now with Gone. Rush coming, and he's taken down. It'll go as a loss of about 6, and now it brings up 3rd. They were able to win last week despite him being sacked 4 times. They might need to tighten the reins a little bit, or this one may not end in another victory.
You're right about that. They can't count on just winning the game no matter what happens. They can't let the accumulation of hits and harassment in the pocket get to their quarterback. Got to stop that. Give him clean lanes to throw the football in order to have a better chance to win again this week.
Yeah, this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away.
That punt was near perfection as it checked up inside the 5-yard line. You never know where these things are going to go, do you?
No, what was it? You got a John Heisman quote about that, right?
He said the football is roughly a prolate spheroid, which means it's going to bounce funny, and you never know where it's going to end up.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And he's going to get this up to the 24-yard line. The end result, 21 yards.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field, because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one, because when you run him on short gains, your risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
You talk about this Lions defense.
They've been excellent against the pass, the number 6 unit in the NFL.
This secondary has really developed into one of the strengths of this team. They diagnose, they cover, they run, they hit. What a nice team.
Now this will probably be the last play of the quarter.
Looking to throw is Williams. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he will have the Bears first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. On the ground, it's Monunga. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
Good yardage there on first down. Exactly what you want. Get yourself set up to keep making first downs, keep the clock running. And if they're smart, you're starting to milk the clock. No hurry before you run your 2nd down play.
They'll run Monunga.
And he'll go down right around the 47 this time.
They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
Off the play fake, it's Williams. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
My first thought is surprise, because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
Now a 2nd and 10. Here's Williams. There's a short throw. It's caught by Kmet. And it's going to be another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 40. Mark that down as a pickup of 13, and the Bears have the first.
Well, these guys have definitely been outplayed in the first half, but I like their countenance. I like the way that they haven't panicked out there, the way they're carrying themselves. They're starting to move the ball, and what you have to do, maintain your poise and start to put together some drives.
To the air, Williams. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
Yeah, their back's up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple of more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
Here's 2nd and 10. Here's Monongai. And this defense not ready for that one as he'll take this down inside the 25. 40 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
To throw, Williams. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Moore. And down inside the 15 he goes. Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time and a first down.
How about a nod to the sequence of plays they're putting together here? This has been death by 1,000 paper cuts on this drive. But this is one of their best plays yet, and they're able to move it down into the red zone.
Throwing is Williams. Pass caught by Burden.
Only able to gain a couple there, and that's going to bring up 2nd down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend. They're putting together a drive here in the final minutes of the half, but the coverage has been tight all game long, and they certainly want to keep them off the scoreboard here.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. From the gun, here's Williams. Touchdown! Luther Burden with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Bears go 98 yards and finish it off in the end zone.
Cairo Santos on to try the extra point.
And that one makes it 14-7.
Makes the score Lions 14, Bears 7. Cairo Santos to kick off for Chicago.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away.
Runs over it.
And he'll be out of bounds here, a yard shy of the 25 at the 24.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And they are winners of 2 straight games as they have climbed back to 500 now on the season.
And you and I both know this can be a tough team to figure out sometimes, because I remember a few weeks ago you and I having a conversation where we both thought that this was a season that could get away from them pretty quickly. Obviously not.
What an intelligent play as he found open grass and uncovered quickly. A nice clutch play to move the chains. The defense, they've got to do a much better job of accounting for these shorter routes.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Straight ahead with Gibbs here.
And he stopped immediately there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, and that's what their job is, and really a lot of the time they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game, because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance. They're just headed straight for the quarterback. That was good recognition on that play to hold them to no gain.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Goff now looks to throw. His throw incomplete.
I didn't like the look of that play right from the beginning. I thought he should have seen the coverage that was there, tried to force it in. That one, he's fortunate, just fell incomplete.
An incomplete pass on 2nd down. It muddles things a little bit here. This is 3rd and 10. Here's Goff. And that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's 4th down. Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. This is taken at the 23. That'll go as a punt of 32 yards. And the Bears take over. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. For this offense, Charles, remember the last time they were out here, marched it nearly the full length of the football field, and a lot of the attack went through the air, so now they're seeing if they can duplicate that performance.
Okay, if I show my age a little bit, partner, because I can hear my high school coach, John Ford. I can hear his voice in my head. Laddie, when you put the ball in the air, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. For the way the game's being played now, this is just part of what they do. So I don't think they should change anything at all. They've been dominant. Keep throwing it around.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Back to throw. Williams. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Keely Ringo picks it off. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops. After the interception, here's Goff. And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Drake Jackson just would not be denied. That's a loss of 7. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. Setting up the screen. This is Gibbs. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40.
I wonder what was going through his mind when he got the play call. He just got sacked on the previous play. He knows they're coming after him again.
A little bit of guts to stand in there, take the hit, and successfully complete the screen pass. Really well done.
They'll need to get it to the 30 for a first. This is third down. A shotgun snap for Goff.
Well, that's to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
19 yards.
And it's a real luxury when you have a guy who can turn a short throw into a solid gain at any moment. Once he caught that ball, he ID'd where the open grass was and got there in a hurry to pick up a new set of downs for his offense.
He will push his way down to about the 14.
Now the Bears going to call the first of their timeouts.
So as they talk it over, we step aside. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
Second and 7.
Here's Goff. Throw left side complete to Harry. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit.
N'Keal Harry from 13 yards out. And the Lions will extend their lead in the final minute of the half.
Point after here coming up. It's good, and it is now 21-7.
Makes the score Lions 21, Bears 7.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24.
At their own 24-yard line.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense.
And Charles, you're down multiple scores, less than a minute left here. But with that deficit, they've got to try to at least work their way into field goal range to try to muster something out of this drive.
I'm going to go ahead and date myself one more time because I'm going to quote an old Smokey and the Bandit lyric. They've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. But they still have time to get it done. So I'm looking forward to watching them mount this drive and see if they can get some points out of it.
And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
When you struggle on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
From the shotgun, a throw for Williams.
And his pass is intercepted for the third time today.
And the Lions are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. Well, CD, when you mentioned earlier about spreading the ball around in this game, I don't think you mentioned the guys in the other uniform. With 4 interceptions here in the first half, and several different guys have picked him off.
Yeah, instead of analyzing what's going wrong with him, throwing the football, while we look at the defense, see?
And now this is intercepted. My goodness.
Picked off by Jaquan Brisker. And the Bears are going to get it back here just past the 35.
Intercepted. The Bears take over first and 10 at their own 36-yard line.
The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. He's going to look deep for more. This is caught at the 20. Now the Bears going to use the second of their timeouts.
5
as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half.
That's good for a Bears first down.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Working out of the gun, Williams. To the end zone, but knocked away and incomplete.
Well, he certainly thought he had a window to push that ball downfield, but as soon as he released the throw, the corner was there to slam that window shut.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Looking to throw. Williams. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked up by Jair Alexander. And the Lions are going to take over at their own 2-yard line. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his 2nd interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ball game, I would have said never, not in a million years. But here we go. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And from here, might not be able to take a knee. Might need to run a play here this close to their goal line. And he's going to be taken down here as that will lead us to the end of the first half of play. The Bears going to see the football first, and they trail here as we get back underway to start this second half. The lane opens here. He's past the 30. And a nifty return there all the way across the 40.
You know, we always talk about the chess match in a football game, but we're usually talking about offensive coordinator versus defensive coordinator. How about the special teams coaches? I think we just saw a big-time adjustment by one to help his team get a spark to start the second half.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. This offense, Charles, had a strong first half throwing the football, at least in terms of yardage, but that hasn't translated so far on the scoreboard as they begin the third quarter here, trailing and looking for a little momentum.
Yeah, you're right about that because, you know, let's face it, in the first half, most of their focus was in the passing game. And to their credit, resulted in a healthy amount of yardage. So I would think that at halftime, they're going to anticipate that defense loosening up a little bit to try and cover the passing lanes. They've got to get the running game going, and there should be some gaps to run through now.
Over the middle into traffic, and that's complete. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30.
That's another Bears first down. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Back to throw now on 1st down. He's got this complete to Burden. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 5 catches for him in that first half, and that's number 6 that we just saw, and also a 1st down.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going. A little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
Now the first carry here for the running back. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another 1st down. So there the defense denies the rookie of his potential first career touchdown.
And his first NFL touchdown celebration. I wonder if he's thought about it, if he has something cooked up.
And he will fight his way in. Not giving up there. He's got a Bears touchdown. Kyle Monungai taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Bears have got it back to within a score. That's the score you felt they had to have here in the third quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there's an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard, you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 35-yard line.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. But Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back. Maybe they need at least 3 here on this drive.
I think you're right about that, Brandon, because your game plan doesn't change. But I do believe your urgency does because of the last score that went against your team. So what you want to do now is have your own drive and try and make sure that that momentum stays in your camp.
Throwing on 2nd and long. Goff throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
That incompletion certainly makes this upcoming third down a little bit more crucial. They need to find the right play to convert here and maybe start to tamp down a little bit of momentum the other side is starting to gain.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. To throw is Goff. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
And that's a really good job there defensively. They went into this possession knowing that they needed to get a stop. They're in a tight ball game, and they got it done. Great work to force the 3 and out. Got the football right back for their offense. They've got to go to the sidelines feeling pretty good about themselves and encouraging their offensive mates to get some points.
33 yards is the distance on the punt there. And they will take over 1st and 10. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball. But when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. Room here to run. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. They went with the nickel look defensively, so they had 5 defensive backs in there. Didn't help them stop the run.
Yeah, I love that, the nickel look. 5 cents, 5 DBs. But what also happens then? You take a big body off the field in order to insert that guy. So you're taking a big off for a little. And oftentimes you can run the football effectively against that defense.
Man, I just love being in this stadium. So much history, tradition, so many great teams and games. And we're seeing a pretty good one right now, hotly contested in the third quarter. Running is Manunga, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They've been able to move the ball really well on the ground the entire game, and while that wasn't a huge one, that's okay. They'll take them in short, steady bursts.
2nd and 8 coming from the 19. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And the Bears are going to have a 1st and goal as the tackle is made at about the 5.
It's all pretty simple sometimes, isn't it? Go where the defenders are not, and he does exactly that. Makes a nice catch to move the chains. Defense, got to find a better way of accounting for the shorter routes that are being run against them.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he's going to get him about 3 yards closer. He's down to about the 2.
Biggie Angels.
Brings up 2nd and goal.
They'll try again. And this time he'll get in. Touchdown Bears. And that moment we just saw, always so special for any rookie, the first touchdown of his career.
And there's nothing like anticipation, is there? You know he's been dreaming about it, thinking about it. It's been a part of every bit of his being. And finally, it gets done. He's got to feel great right now.
Santos to kick off for Chicago.
A couple of teams locked into a good one here. 21 all the score as the kick's away. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28.
At their own 28-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. We got a brand new ball game, all even after that last touchdown, so every drive now becoming a little more critical here in the second half. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
No daylight for him to run through there, and he ran into the defensive tackle, and that guy blocks a whole lot of daylight as it is. He is truly a big man who just made a big play.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. From the gun, here's Goff. He's airing it out for Williams. It's caught inside the 25. Touchdown, Detroit. Jamison Williams, 72 yards. And the Lions have taken the lead. Well, you know he can be explosive, and he's ultra-explosive there on the fly route.
And you know how many times we've talked to coaches and we've had quoted back to us, well, you know something? When you execute really well, it doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not. Well, sometimes athleticism beats you as well. He just took off and went. That's almost like one of your Turkey Bowl games, isn't it? Just go long, man. I'll hit you. And it worked really well for them.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Oh, able to avoid him. And a nice return, but he's going to pay for it as they knock him down hard at the end.
1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Not a huge carry there on 1st down, but not all of them will be. But still, all in all, a positive play for the offense. It's all about picking up at least a few to set up what you're going to do here on 2nd down.
And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And this will be a Bears 1st down as good running gets him to about the 44.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
On play action, here's Williams. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
Have to give some credit to the defender on that when he read all of his keys perfectly and got a great break on the ball and able to force that incompletion.
Glad you're with us from Soldier Field in Chicago. 3rd quarter here, 2nd and 10. Here's a handoff out of the gun. And a lane slowly materializing there as he'll get maybe a yard up to the 45. Pretty good little two-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
And that one not to be. It's incomplete. So they couldn't hook up as time has now run out on this 3rd quarter of play. Back now at Soldier Field. It's Bears football, but they trail on the scoreboard as we get set to bring you the 4th quarter. Here comes the Bears punter now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. And this will be taken at the 13. That'll be a net of only 30 here. 40-yard punt, 10 on the return. And the Lions will take over. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. Their defense got the stop, forced the punt, and now you really start to monitor the clock as they nurse this slim lead. And this will leave them a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
And that's just an ideal run to start this drive because they're in full ball control mode now. So if you keep ripping off 7, 8, 9 yards of carry, you're going to have a great chance of finishing off this game.
Second down, and they go back to Gibbs. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 112 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. And carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now a give running right is Montgomery. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. 2 yards the loss, second and 12. Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the fourth quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're just trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz,
Kyler Gordon picks it off. And the Bears are right back in this football game.
Intercepted. The Bears take over first and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. The interception sets them up with an opportunity to erase this fourth quarter deficit. And this series could very well determine our outcome. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Well, from an offensive perspective, that was a tough run because he only picked up 3 yards. But let's flip it over to the defensive side. They now have the advantage. 3 3-yard gains, that means they're punting the ball likely on fourth down. That's what you're looking for when you're playing defense.
A 1-yard gain there following the 3-yard pickup on first down. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And this will be a Bears first down as he gets it up past the 35.
Well, sometimes, Brent, there's just not a secret to how things get done. He's been running well all game long, and they continue to rely on him in this key situation.
They told us they were going to rely on him. They have. He comes through there, a big third down conversion. On first down, they'll go. And he lost the football. And this is scooped up by the Lions. And they take possession 2 yards away from midfield at the 48-yard line.
You remember in preseason we were going to the different training camps and visiting teams, and we always would see the running backs working out and going through those gauntlet drills, and, you know, guys either slapping at the ball or the machines. You got to learn to take care of it.
And they lost it there, big fumble. And he's able to push his way forward somehow for a gain of about 2 yards. Second down now. Got to figure now, after getting that turnover, they're just going to be happy to keep the ball on the ground, right?
This is where covering the football, taking care of the ball, all the ball security terms that have ever been used, they come into play for the guys on offense right now. Just take care of it, and they've got a good chance of ending up winning this game.
And he's going to take this down close to a first down at about the Bears' 40-yard line. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. At this stage of the game, with the score where it is, the key here is stay in bounds, and he did just that. Not by a huge margin, but he stayed in.
And those come up in what we like to call winning edge meetings. The things that you have to do, late game situations, kicking situations, doesn't matter what it is, the things you have to do to win a game. And that comes up in that meeting, then you practice it, they've got to be happy to see it executed, being able to stay in bounds and work the clock.
And he is going to have the Lions first down, and he's going to have it by plenty, able to get 8 yards there on 3rd and 2.
For as many sacks as this defense has, you can understand their willingness to try and get upfield and get another. So what a really smart play call here to use their aggression against them, go with the screen, and they're able to get the first down.
And now, defensively, they're going to burn their first timeout. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And this defense here going to burn their second timeout. But you can also factor in another timeout that they'll get when the clock stops at the 2-minute warning. Ball on the 28-yard line. Here's the 2nd down and 6. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And now here comes the 3rd of their timeouts defensively. So they'll be left with only the 2-minute warning to stop it from here on out. Well, the objective there, I mean, yes, the positive gain, that's nice, but work some clock.
Yeah, you're exactly right, but the problem for them is still within a possession, so they can't just sit on it running the ball. They'll have to find a way to throw it effectively as well.
He's got his target. That's complete. And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds.
And that's a nice job of working his way open down in the red zone. Looked that one in and then made a beeline for the pylon. He didn't quite get there, and he wanted to give him a little extra for the effort, but instead he sets his guys up in excellent shape with a 1st and goal.
So 1st and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Gibbs is in for a Lions touchdown.
And that right there is a definition of a statement drive. You're in the 4th quarter, trying to get to the finish line, and here they were able to hold the ball for a long time and move it down the field. And how about them finishing it off with the touchdown run? Winning football 101, check that box.
No going for 2. They'll kick the point after. Point after, right down the middle. And the lead now up to 14.
35. Bears 21.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And that's going to skip into the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 20-yard line.
They'll come up 1st and 10 here. They'll start this drive out on the ground. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports.
At the 18-yard line.
They'll come up now. This is 2nd and long. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry.
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football. But how about the defense there? They met force with force and caused a stack up behind the line of scrimmage and threw him for a loss.
Boy, here's a big one. You can just feel it. This is 3rd down now. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground.
Well, that was a 3rd and long run, and to me, that was just a wave the white flag kind of a situation. Obviously, they don't want to risk the chance of throwing it downfield and risking a turnover in this section of the field.
No choice but to go. Here's 4th down now. They'll try and run for it. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And now possession will go over inside the 15-yard line.
180.
Goff with a kneel down here, and that should put a conclusion to this one. So this one's over. It's a win for the Detroit Lions. And I tell you what, I can't remember a defensive performance as good as this one. They seemingly forced turnover after turnover after turnover every time you turned around.
Yeah, you just keep going with it, can't you? After turnover. As this game unfolded, they were doing all the dictating, right? They told the offense exactly how it was going to go down today. So you saw them deflate with every series, didn't you? Every time they ran onto the field, it was slower and slower to get to the football because they just felt like if we go out there, we're just going to turn it over anyway. So it was really, really a stellar performance.
So for Detroit, they move back over 500 now at 4-3. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Bears, things are definitely going south quickly as they fall now to 1-6. And they'll try to get back to their winning ways next week as they head to Lambeau to take on the Packers. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin.